Well, hey, friends, welcome back to the Castro Valley News Live Show. I apologize, we're a couple minutes late, had some connectivity issues here, so I had to do some rebooting here and restart the show. And right out the gate, Cali Life 80 is first for the roll call. So if you guys are not familiar with what we do on the show here, we do first. My name is Robert, if you prefer. Either is fine. We do a like an old school kind of radio show where we do talk only. So if you're seeing a black screen, that is intentional and not accidental. So we do not do video on the show here, just audio. And like I said, it's kind of an old school talk radio show where we all get to talk to each other and discuss items and topics and news and information about our community that might be on our mind. So again, my name is Roberto. You can call me Robert. Either is fine. And what we do is we start the show with a roll call. And good evening again to Cali Life 80. Also, good evening to Bob. Bob, thank you for everything you do behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to make the show awesome. Good evening to Catherine. And thank you to Bob from the sports desk. A's 6, Astros 6 after 5 innings. And good evening to Laura. I hope you're doing well. And again, if you're just joining the show, what we do here is basically like an old school kind of radio show where it's audio only. And my name is Robert again. This is some episodes I don't even introduce myself, but my name is Robert and I am the host of the show. And what we do is we talk about issues and things that are happening. And hang on a second. Having some more computer issues here. I hope everyone can hear me. Good evening, Deborah. And again, I hope you guys can hear me. I've been having some connectivity issues here with the internet. So please let me know if you can hear me, and we will get on with the show. Good evening, Deborah. I'm not sure if I just did that. If I gave you 2 shout outs, it's because I'm doubly grateful to hear from you and doubly grateful that you're listening to the show. So we usually start off the show with a roll call. So if you're listening and you like a shout out, just put there you go. Good evening, Sabrina. And I guess she's saying that she can hear me, hopefully. So again, I apologize for being tardy to the show. I was having some connectivity issues here with the Wi-Fi, but it looks like everything is dialed in. So thank you guys for your patience, and as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll let the roll call go for a couple more minutes because I want to make sure that I give shout outs to everyone who wants one. I haven't heard from Kimberly. Kimberly, if you're out there, type up a comment and we'll give you a shout out. Sabrina said, okay, bye. Well, thanks for listening for a few moments, Sabrina. We're grateful that you tuned in. And hopefully we'll see you next episode, maybe. While we're kind of letting the roll call percolate and brew, the next topic that I was going to bring up at some point. Yes, there you go. Bob is mentioning connectivity is the $2 word of the day. I think connectivity might be like $1.50, $1.25 word, but we can make it count. Hopefully the nomenclature will enrich towards the rest of the show. We might come up with a better $2 word. I was talking to someone earlier. I had a more than a good friend. I have a wonderful and amazing friend who was generous enough, and I'm going further down the list of things that we have to talk about. But we do have there's a new Castro Valley News magazine that is going to go to print this Friday, so it should hit the streets in probably 2 weeks. I'll give you another heads up, but I wanted to mention that I had a I have an amazing friend, a wonderful, amazing, super special friend who was generous enough to do some proofreading on this magazine. And I used the word moniker to describe like a name of a place. And she was uh, wonderful enough to point out that some people may prefer to just read the name of this business and not the moniker of this business, as that might be distracting and it might detract from the story. Because if people aren't familiar with the word moniker, they may have to stop and Google it, look it up, and then they may lose interest in the story. So I wanted to mention a special thank you to that special person for making that editorial point to me, and I think it's a valid one that I should probably think more of in the future. Because there's Kimberly right there. Good evening. Were your ears burning, Kimberly? Because I just gave you a name drop before a few minutes ago. So good evening, Kimberly. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your bowling game is strong. But and our wonderful, learned, wised, lovely, fetching moderator just posted a link to our recent and past Castro Valley News magazine. The majority of them are available online for your perusal. I think perusal is about a $135 word, but it might qualify for the hoity-toity word list. Did I just change it? The hoity-toity word list. Oh, it's ridiculous. So with that said, good evening, Sharon. I hope you're doing well. And I think Sharon, I think you listen in from a different state, if I'm not correct, and I don't want to guess what state, but you moved from Castro Valley to someplace else, and you listen every week, and I am in debt. I'm indebted to you for your for you listening to me blather and do this show. This show's nothing without you guys. Without you guys, it would just be me talking rubbish. Good evening, Dennis. I hope you're doing well, and I want to give another heartfelt thank you to Dennis, because every time we mention our pledge page, Dennis and I believe Elda. I haven't seen Elda in the roll call, but there's another wonderful person named Elda. Dennis and Elda are always donating to keep the wheels in the Castro Valley News machine greased by donating very generously to us through our pledge page. And as a friendly reminder, give me a moment here. Just as a friendly reminder, Castro Valley News, we are a business. We are seeing what we can do in regards to writing this wonderful wave of news and seeing how it changes and how getting information to people changes and is constantly evolving. So we are a business, and we do make we do have an income from ads on our magazine. We do have ads on our page, but we are also supported in a very small way through donations from folks who are kind enough to show us some love through any donation of money in any denomination. We have quite a few people who sponsor us on a regular basis. If you would like to do that as well, whatever level you're comfortable with, I don't want to. I hope this doesn't sound like we're trying to pressure you into giving us money. If you like us and you can support us financially, that would be awesome. That is always greatly appreciated. If you can't, that's cool as well. We still love you. We love our town. There's a lot of people who volunteer their time to Castro Valley News for our content. There's Chef Igor Brayman, who does restaurant reviews. There's also Cedric, who does restaurant reviews. My wonderful good friend Chet Weehee, he also volunteers time. There's a lot of people who volunteer time to help. And of course, all of you listeners volunteer your time by sending in tips, news tips. So I made that short speech probably twice the length that it should have been. Uh, the Reader's Digest condensed version is, if you'd like to donate and support what we do here in bringing you local news and information, please do so through our pledge page. The link is in the comments. And if you don't, we still love you, and we'll continue doing what we do the way that we do it. And Kimberly said she hasn't bowled in a while. She's been busy with work. I'm Work is great. I'm glad to hear you're doing well and busy with work. We're still kind of simmering in the roll call. If you'd like a shout out, definitely post something up, and we'll give you a shout out. It's kind of a good way for us to kind of get introduced to each other. You get a name drop, and that way the other listeners know who else is listening. Again, this is like the fifth time I'm saying my name. In some shows, I don't even say it ever. My name is Roberto. You can call me Robert if you like. I am your host, for the lack of a better term. So I think we're going to close out the roll call. If there's anybody out there who wants a shout out, definitely do so, and I'll give you a name drop and say howdy. Let's talk about fireworks, shall we? Should we? It's kind of a third rail conversation topic, because there've been a couple posts on the page about fireworks, and it's interesting. There's some passionate opinions on both sides of the fence here. Before we go any further, if you would like to text or call a comment, complaint, confession, topic idea, the number here is 510-331-9112. You'll notice I'm giving you a different tone of voice. It's the jazz radio station voice again. 510-331-9112. You can text in. That's probably easiest. I will only mention the area code. I will not mention your name unless you say otherwise. But we are going to dip our toes into the murky waters of the topic of fireworks. So you've got the number 510-331-9112 if you would like to text in your thoughts, observations, your anger or support in regards to fireworks from July 4th. I do have some information from Alameda County Fire and the Sheriff's Department in regards to their calls for service during the 4th of July, and it's interesting. It's not surprising to me, because it seems like every 4th of July, the noise that we hear gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And I'll give you full disclosure on the topic, on the issue. I have a pit bull who is a delicate flower. He's very sensitive to loud noises. He is a shelter dog. The belief is that he was living on the streets in Berkeley for a time. So our guess is that he was either almost hit by a car or was running in and out of traffic, and probably the loud noises from cars somewhat traumatized him. So with that full disclosure, I do have a little bit of skin in the game, because the loud booms scare my dog, and my dog is essentially like my child. He's my boy, so I don't want him scared. And I think I mentioned this during a past show. It seems like every 4th of July, every New Year's Eve, it is a kind of tradition to put on one of the three, there's three of them now, one of the three John Wick movies, and turn the volume up a little bit loud, so the sound of that movie will somewhat drown out all of the loud booms coming from outside. And as I'm droning on, I want to give you the phone number one more time, 510-331-9112. The topic we have on the table right now is 4th of July fireworks. And maybe you guys are collecting your thoughts, or maybe a lot of people are biting their tongue, or maybe people are just choosing some choice words on the topic. But I'm seeing I saw one comment from Bob, and Bob said boom. And I think that kind of sums up the 4th of July. I have never heard explosions, fireworks with the veracity and intensity that happened this 4th of July between the hours. I mean, it's been going on for weeks, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that. That the fireworks have been going on for well in advance of the 4th of July, and I I've I've invested some thought into what may be the reasoning for this, and it could be that this is where the folks are directing their stimulus money towards. I'm not sure, but it really seems like there was a lot of money spent on a lot of illegal fireworks. Carol is mentioning she called the non-emergency number and had to leave a message. Someone very close to me also called during the 4th, and there was no answer. My guess, and I can't really speak for the sheriff's office, but my guess would be that they received probably so many calls that their staff was probably inundated. Um, Carol also mentioned she could see a lot of fireworks in the Vinoy Elementary School area. My perspective here, I'm kind of on a perch overseeing the Ashland and parts of San Leandro and a smidge of Hayward from the location here. And just like every other year, all of those areas were lit up. And from what I could hear, it sounded like Castro Valley itself was also literally lit up and just exploding. And just it was non-stop, literally from I believe around 8 p.m. till I think 10:30ish, and maybe earlier for some of the other areas. If you're listening and you have recollections of what the 4th of July was like for you and your pets, definitely post something up in the comments, or you can text me 510-331-9112. And I don't want to sound like a complete prude or like I'm totally poo-pooing fireworks. I grew up when, now I'm going to reveal my age a little bit. Derek is saying with the whole COVID thing and all the stuff that happened with protests and riots, I think it was just a lot of people blowing off steam, and it's been the first real holiday that people could get together I'm assuming without restrictions and masks. And Derek brings up a good point. It seems like on paper a lot of the restrictions have been lifted. However, I'm gonna do some topic hopscotch here. And Carol's also mentioning the problem being too many fire shootings, injuries as well. Oakland OPD was stretched insanely. There was a sideshow with 300 cars and a couple of shootings, and apparently OPD had no time, no manpower to actually do any firework enforcement, which is unfortunate because I was in Oakland for a very a little bit of time prior to sundown, and Oakland was blowing up. There were a lot of fireworks in Oakland before sundown. Carol is mentioning the fireworks went on until 1 a.m. on the 3rd and the 4th. You bring up a great point. And I'm trying to come back full circle to my recollections of fireworks. And again, I will happily reveal the ballpark of my age. I remember when all fireworks were, not all fireworks, most fireworks were legal. The safe and sane ones, um, yeah, all fireworks were legal. And I remember being in the driveway with my uncle Mike, and we had a gigantic bucket, a metal bucket, a metal trash can full of water. And he was definitely the supervisor to setting things off, and also when the fireworks had expired, had been done, set off, they went into the bucket of water so they would cool off. I personally have not experienced being hurt by fireworks. I don't think I am familiar with anybody else being hurt by fireworks, and I have friends who may have happily set off M80s and M100s, and I'm just being totally honest here. But it's valid. I've heard some of the horror stories of people being hurt by fireworks. So I'm not completely for fireworks. I'm not completely against them. It seems like in every issue I try to walk the center line, and I'm kind of doing that here. I get the nostalgia. I get that it's cool. I get that it's fun. I totally get that it's fun for the kids because, like I said, my uncle and the family, they basically it was for us. It was for the kids to have fun, to you know, to enjoy the sights and the sounds of fireworks, and they are fun. They are fun, but unfortunately, they're illegal, and um, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people who particularly care about them being illegal. Sue is mentioning that there are many deputies out on the streets on mandatory overtime, but there is not much they can do unless they see the person actually set off the fireworks. It's a difficult problem to solve, and Sue is absolutely correct there. Um, I'm certain that there are a lot of people who called and said, "Hey, there's someone around the corner who's just doing these things. They're super loud," and um, excuse me. The problem is when someone is out doing something illegal and they see law enforcement arrive, they're going to scatter. So I think the problem lies right there in catching people in the act of actually setting them off. But it's glaringly obvious that there was no shortage of people setting these things off. And I'll give you some more full disclosure. I have a neighbor who told me that they were going out of state with a large sum of money with the intent to buy a lot of illegal fireworks. And this is not the first year that this has happened. And last year, um, the fireworks set off by this person uh, became caused my dog to extremely panic. And I know that might sound like I'm kind of harping on the pet thing, but pet owners out there, stand up. We know what this is like. We know what we have to go through when it comes to these loud booms, and they frighten pets like you wouldn't believe. I know you can say, well, just stick them in a room and turn the radio on or whatever. Not with the veracity that this year was like. Unless you have your stereo full blast, it was not going to drown out what was happening this year. And that same neighbor was just setting this stuff off, and I know there's a lot of people who have neighbors like that, or people on their street that are just, they continue to do that. And I don't know what the solution is. I know I saw a lot of comments in regards to some of the statistics that were put out there, and there's a lot of people that are pointing fingers. Oh, here's the snitches. These people are the Karens. They're this, they're that. I mean, it seems like on every issue, a lot of people, or on a lot of issues, there's a lot of people who kind of, that's the first of the show, and I've been doing really good so far with them. I think one of the lost, uh, dying, a dying art on topics is that a lot of us kind of are not exceeding in the aspect of seeing other people's perspective or seeing both sides of the story. Getting back to the roll call, good evening, Benjamin. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining the show. Deborah says on Strobridge, somebody set off fireworks with the powder from the firework, which the fireworks from the. Sorry, let me go back one more time. Deborah says on Strobridge, somebody set off fireworks, which the powder from the fireworks fell onto my deck, and also the cardboard from the fireworks. I have family and friends, and this is very unsafe. Which the people that were shooting the fireworks on Strobridge must have come from somewhere else. It wasn't our neighbor on the corner. So there's another kind of aspect to the firework thing where a lot of the projectiles or the end result, for a lack of a better term, of the fireworks end up on people's grass, on people's houses, and people's vegetation, and everything seems to. We're in a drought. A lot of things are dry, and it's a fire risk. Uh, Adding on to Deborah's comment about finding powder and cardboard from the firework packaging, a couple years ago, actually it was last 4th of July, in the parking lot where I live. I had my windows almost all the way rolled up, and on my front seat was a spent bottle rocket that had spent. It had been fired. So if a bottle rocket could make it in someone's car, um, and our moderator says it is somewhat amazing that there were not more fires. So a lot of good comments from folks on the firework issue. If you're listening and you have an opinion on the fireworks issue, please post up a comment or shoot me a text at 510-331-9112. You can also call if you like and be on air, but if you prefer the text option, that's also okay. So the statistics from Alameda County Fire, oh man, the statistics from Alameda County Fire are as such. Alameda County Fire crews between the hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. from July 4th to 5th. Alameda County Fire crews responded to 178 calls for service in a 24-hour period, 96 medical calls, 30 outdoors vehicle fires, 12 structure fires, 10 vegetation fires, and 30 miscellaneous traffic collisions, alarms, etc. And going over more specifically to the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, let me answer some more of our comments here. Benjamin says, in Hayward, at least 50 people in the street with huge fireworks. Police never came to tell people to calm down, but there were helicopters overhead all night. Bottle rockets were everywhere. And yes, Benjamin says it seemed like people were aiming bottle rockets at the police helicopters. So it's, and that's the second of the night, and I'm sorry. That kind of echoes some of the other comments that I've seen online on our page and some other page, and it seems like there's kind of a, and I can't really give a different term to this. There's kind of been a middle finger type attitude from a lot of people who do support fireworks and those folks who enjoy them. It's kind of been too bad, deal with it. And I guess if you were in a different position where you had a dog who can be traumatized by these things, or if you had or have a friend or a loved one or a relative who has PTSD, I think you may feel different. If you had a senior citizen who is a friend or a relative who may be frightened by these noises, who may be just emotionally sensitive to these things, I think your perspective would be different. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I am saying that they're illegal and what you're doing is not legal, number one. And number two, it's completely inconsiderate to your neighbors, to the men and women who have served our country who may have PTSD, and the people who have pets. And I'm just saying that with the caveat that I do like fireworks. I've always liked fireworks. I've always loved them. I would do them now. I would go buy them and do them where I live, but they're illegal, so I don't. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody else. I'm just saying that that's my perspective. And my perspective may not be for you. With that said, got some comments here. Carolyn says the problem is people that have taken it to the extreme noise and disregard for the very real potential for fire. Our hills are already very dry, but when Concord's professional fireworks show set a small fire which was quickly put out, it is not safe. Pre-COVID, didn't we have enough with fires, loss of life, and property? Great comment. And it seems like ever since the shelter in place started, July 4 has gotten much more wild, a lot louder. So, let's get back to some numbers here. So, according to Bob is mentioning there are fewer professional shows. People do their own. Great point. It seems like the shows that people are doing on their own are professional grade. That's the third. It's not. It wasn't a but it was a. So the stuff that I was seeing from Ashland and Cherryland and San Leandro, and that I've seen in the past few years, these people are procuring, and there's your $2 word for tonight. Procuring. These people are procuring professional grade fireworks, and I don't want to go over the same grooves of the record where I mention how it's inconsiderate and illegal, but it is. And excuse me for a moment here. So getting back to the statistics that were provided by the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. So overall, on the 4th of July, the Alameda County Sheriff's Office took about 750, that's 750 firework-related complaints, and they were dispatched to about 300 locations on July 4th. And this is verbatim from the Sheriff's Office. Hopefully our efforts did stop some injuries, vandalism, and fires. They would like to recognize their vulnerable and sensitive community members for hanging in there, including pets. And you can also continue to call the non-emergency line at 510-667-7721 with any firework complaints. So I'll give you the number one more time. And like someone mentioned before, it seems like action can be taken by the sheriffs when they visibly see someone doing the fireworks. So that number is 510-667-7721. You can definitely call and request that they drive by. It seems like I mentioned a few moments ago, if someone is, and that's an so that's 4. It seems like if someone's out there doing something illegal and they see law enforcement or a first responder coming by, they may stop. They will hopefully stop. So definitely try to call. And I can't speak on the sheriff's behalf, but I'm guessing with my experience from past ride-alongs, and I did a ride-along on New Year's Eve, which was an eye-opener. This was quite a few years ago, and I'll just give you, it's kind of an old perspective, but this was years ago, and on New Year's Eve, the 2 minutes before midnight, and the board in the car, the dispatch board just lit up. There were just calls everywhere, everywhere, to the couple of minutes leading up to midnight on New Year's Eve, and of course after, probably up to 10 minutes after, the board was just lit up with so many calls, and there's only so many deputies and officers out to handle those calls. And I'm not trying to make any excuses for the sheriff's office, but I'm just trying to give you a little my own observation as to how that kind of happens. Getting back to the comments, Carol says you can buy Safe and Sane in Dublin. You can go to many parking lots in Dublin and safely do fireworks with your children. Les, I think you mean protection due to COVID. Next year should be back to what we were used to enjoying. I hope so. Benjamin says, it seems like the police station has been out to lunch during the pandemic. It only continues non-emergency complaints like fireworks. Sadly, they don't care about safety. Steven says, most, if not all of those fireworks are consumer grade, not professional grade. He has done some work with pyrotechnics. Stephen, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. A lot of the things that I saw were very similar to the things that I would see coming off the barge in Oakland or San Francisco, and I've been to both of those events in past years. There's a lot of stuff that is just professional grade. It blows my mind. If it's not professional grade, it's extremely similar, and it may be bootleg stuff that is extremely close to professional grade. I'm flabbergasted at they're beautiful. And I'm going to say it. They were beautiful. They are beautiful. There was also a photo that was sent in, and I think our admin shared the thread to it again. It was, I think it was a time lapse of, I think, 10 minutes of the fireworks set off seen from Fairmont Ridge. It's in the thread. If you get a chance, give it a look. See, it's a time lapse. I'm what is with the nasal activity there. It's a time lapse of 10 minutes alone of fireworks seen. I think Fairmont Ridge looks over Ashland and parts of San Leandro, and it's eye-opening. It's not photoshopped. The photos were stacked on each other, and it's amazing. It's eye-opening to see what was happening in the flatlands as viewed from Fairmont Ridge. And yes, our moderator just shared that photo one more time for your viewing pleasure. So it looks like there's not a lot of other people who are looking to comment or discuss the fireworks topic. So if you have a thought or observation about fireworks, post them up. And that's 5. So that's 5. I'm just stunned because I missed the Midway giveaway. So we'll do like Midway and a little bit giveaway. This week we are giving away, and if you're not familiar with what we do during the Midway giveaway, we have a trivia question, a Castro Valley related trivia question. Carol is mentioning that the fireworks are professional grade, but not set off by professionals. Professionals set off via computer, not up close lighting. Good point, Carol. Thank you. So getting back to the trivia question, every week we have a Castro Valley trivia question where we ask a question, and the first person to text in the correct answer gets a $10 gift card from a Castro Valley business. Derek has another comment about fireworks, and he says he agrees with Stephen. The fireworks that I saw here in Castro Valley were pretty much the same ones you would be able to buy at any of the big fireworks stores that you would see in South Carolina or other states where they are legal. Okay. Thank you, Derek. So I'm going to cross fireworks off the list. That was a good one. Thank you guys for a good conversation about fireworks. And again, the text in line to answer the trivia question that's coming up is 510-331-9112. So please, when I ask the question, you have to be the first person to text in the answer. You got to text it in. You can't answer on the thread. I mean, you can answer in the comments, but you don't really qualify. So the first person to text in the correct answer to 510-331-9112. Again, first person to answer correctly this question to 510-331-9112. You're welcome, Derek. We'll get a $10 gift card to Valley Java Organic Coffee and Tea. And when you go, if you win or you don't win, say hello to Vince and tell him that Robert with Castro Valley News sent you. They are located 20511 Stanton Avenue. And Vince, the owner, is a really nice, awesome guy. So, one more time. Text your answer to 510-331-9112. The first person to answer correctly wins the $10 gift card to Valley Java. And the question is, who is the television news program host and commentator who a major television, who is the major television news program host and commentator who graduated from Castro Valley High in 1990? This person is a Rhodes Scholar. This person has written numerous books. This person has appeared on tons and tons of shows. This person does a lot of political commentary. This person was also on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine a couple years ago. Again, who is the television news program host and commentator who graduated from Castro Valley High? And our moderator knows. 510-331-9112. The first person with the correct answer gets the $10 Valley Java gift card. Now, Bob is saying too easy, Drill Sergeant. Bob's got that one too. So we've got two people who know the answer. Well, three, because I know it too. But I'll give you the question one more time. And that was number 5. Sorry, guys. I'm really trying to eliminate those. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we got a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Thank you. So, here we go. Hang on a second. All right, so we got a winner. And sorry, I had my earphone just fell off in my ear. Oh no! If you're texting and we have a winner, and the answer is Castro Valley High School graduate, alumni Rachel Maddow. None other than Rachel Maddow. She graduated from Castro Valley High in 1990. Now all the answers are coming in. There must be a delay in the audio. Right on. We have a different winner. Congratulations, Julie. Julie won. So that is the contest. And congratulations. I can't say the word. It's not working. Congratulations, Julie, to that and the midway giveaway. One more. Darn. That's number 6. I was doing so good. Next on the list of stuff to talk about, I just noticed this a couple minutes ago. Wanted to mention to you guys, if you know anybody who's looking for a job, I saw Chipotle on the boulevard is hiring, and they are hiring at $16 an hour. I'm sure you know where Chipotle is. They're hiring $16 an hour. I was also hearing on the radio earlier, and this made me feel kind of warm and fuzzy, that a lot of places that are hiring are not looking for college degrees. They're looking more for real time in the trenches experience in whatever field or avenue that or whatever aspect of work that applicants are going for. And as someone who went that route of interning and doing a lot of work for free, that does my heart good to see that some of the folks, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to slight the people who have those college degrees, but there are a lot of people who simply couldn't afford college. There's simply some people who just had to work and couldn't do it. But with that said, again, one more time, Chipotle on Castro Valley Boulevard is hiring 16 an hour. They have a big sign outside. Drive by and see what's going on, how to apply. Bob is mentioning Chanticleer's, our very own little theater that is attached to the community center park, Quail Park, at the corner of Lake Chabot Road, and I think it's Quail Avenue. They're right there. You can't miss them. And if you do, go find them. Chanticleers do great shows. Chanticleers will reopen with a live show on July 16th. The Four Poster Show. The show is called The Four Poster, and more information will come next week. And Bob will give us more information next week. But I want to give a shout out to Chanticleers. They have been there for many years, doing great shows. I believe, and I'm certain that Bob will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm certain tons and tons of people from Castro Valley participate in those shows. And I think our very own Al Peretti has been in a few shows at Chanticleers. Chanticleers are great. I have been to, I think, a 2 or 3 shows there in the past, and it's just fun to see some local theater. It's a great night out, depending on whether you're comfortable or not going out with a mask, or if you're still doing social distancing. Myself, I'm still doing the I can't say social distancing, but I actually pulled it off that time. I'm still doing the mask. I'm still doing social distancing. A friend of mine who did have the vaccine managed to contract COVID. She had some symptoms. She went and got tested. I had indirect contact with her as we kind of work at the same place. So I went and got tested, and thank goodness it was negative, but it's scary. Depending on, and I know people have their own position on the severity and the importance of COVID and all that. I respect that. I get it. I dig it. It's still going around. The variant from the Delta variant is apparently responsible for half of the new COVID cases that are coming in, and it is far more easy to spread this variant. So for me, the truth and what I'm living out is I'm still doing the masking. I'm still doing social distancing. Is that for you? It might not be. But be mindful, and this thing's still spreading. It's still going around. And do what is right for you. Do what's comfortable for you. Do what makes you feel good about caring for yourself, your neighbors, and your loved ones. And bear that in mind. Everything that you do has a direct impact on your loved ones, your neighbors, and your friends. That's kind of important to remember. And I'm going to step off my soapbox right now. Bob is mentioning that he met Al Peretti when Al played the rabbi and fiddler on the roof at Chanticleer's. The new show will be available via streaming as well. And I want to give a special shout out to Al Peretti. I don't know if he's listening. I think sometimes he tunes in. I think Bob reminds him of the show. Al's an awesome guy. Al is Al the barber who used to be in the village. Al is just an awesome guy. He's a really great person. He's got a huge heart. He does a lot of volunteer work with the Chamber of Commerce and a lot of other things. Al loves our community. Al just I can't say enough about Al. Al has been a great friend for a lot of years, and I hadn't seen him for the longest time due to the pandemic, and then I saw him not too long ago from a distance with masks, but I knew it was Al. He was smiling with his eyes, that Al Peretti smile, and it's just a pleasure to know him. And solid guy. Love that guy. Bob mentions he always wears his mask because why not? Who does it hurt if I wear a mask? Thank you, Bob. And I just smacked my desk because I agree with that wholeheartedly. I love it. What a great way to almost end the show. Wait, one last thing I definitely want to mention is Joanna mentioned on one of our past comments promoting the show, she mentioned that the live show is not accessible for residents who are hearing impaired and or maybe deaf. And I apologize on the comment, and I want to apologize publicly. I did not know there's a button that you can slide before you go live to activate the captions. So Joanna, please accept my apology, and I hope that if you are hearing impaired, if it is you or if it is someone who is close to you, please accept my apology. We've gone through 63 of these. 63? Are we on 63? I never mentioned 63. We've gone through 62 of these without being inclusive to hearing impaired and deaf people. And frankly, I'm a bit embarrassed because all I needed to do was Google it, and Google had to answer that there's a button you can just turn on captioning. And our moderator saying we'll research captioning, and I did. I researched it, and captioning is on. So, Joanna, I hope you're listening, or I hope you're reading. I hope your loved one or your friend is reading the show, and I hope you're enjoying what you are reading. That's 6 ums. Well, with the 6th one, I might just call it a show. I did want to bring. Good evening, Karen. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Always good to hear from Karen. The last thing that I wanted to mention is kind of a personal thing, and if I get too emotional, just turn the show off, I guess. I had a really good friend pass away completely out of nowhere, and shoot, this person stood by me at a very low point in my life and was strong for me and helped me get through something really tough. And thankfully, it wasn't even a few days before she passed that we were texting, and we did tell each other how important we were to each other. And it's important to always say that you care, because you never know if that's going to be your last opportunity to do so. because it might be. Anyways, guys, the waterworks are about to start, so I'm going to close the show. Guys, be good to each other. Stay safe, stay healthy, shop local. And as always, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. We will be here next Tuesday, 7 p.m., talking about events of the day, events that are important to you and me and Castro Valley. Take care, guys.